I have a drawing open and I've got it tiled on the left, and I've also opened up Windows Explorer on the right hand side so that you can look at the files that are saved in the background as I work on this save demo drawing that you can see on the left. So I've currently got the drawing open, and we can see that the CAD file is stored as a CAD file with the extension DWG. And we can also see that the microsurvey database is stored with the extension MSZ. Now this is a copy of the database, but the live database is actually a folder that if I open it up, I can see it contains many elements that you just want to let the program modify. You don't want to edit things that are inside that folder. But the important thing to understand is that within that MSJ folder, you have all of the settings that you store here. If we open up our active coordinate editor, you have a record of all of the points. If we open up the active traverse editor, you have a record of all traverses attached to this project. If you had lot definitions, they would also be stored in the database. In addition to the general configuration settings, you've also got all of your microsurvey system toggle settings. All of those things are stored in the survey database. Now, whenever I pick the Save button, watch what's going to happen on the right. I've saved the file, and you'll notice that it's created a couple of new files. So what we've got here is, this is the drawing that I'm currently working on, and this is the database that it's working with. And this is also a zipped up version of that database. Now here, this BAK file is actually just a previously saved version of the DWG file, and there's an MBZ file, and it is the previously saved version of the MSZ file. So these are files that you can copy to a new folder and rename if disaster ever strikes. Important thing to understand is every time you hit save, a copy of the currently open database gets saved and turns into an MSZ file. Now, let's see what happens if I perform a save as. Let's say I want to make a copy of this project in a different folder on a network so a colleague can work on it, or perhaps I need to create a different version of this file. So I'm going to go to Save As, and we'll give it a different name. Save As version, or Save Demo Copy. So we're creating it in the same folder as before. Now you'll see that the CAD file that I'm working on is called Save Demo Copy. You'll see that the MSJ folder from before has been closed and it has been saved, and a fresh one has opened up with a different name. And you'll also see that a new MSZ file has been stored. So all of the items that were stored in the survey database of the previously open drawing are now copied so that you can work with the drawing with the new name. Something that's important to note is if at any point you need to send one of these drawings to a colleague by email or put it on a thumb drive or something, if you want them to be able to work with all the microsurvey settings, send them a copy of both those files. Okay, one other useful tool is the MS Backup tool. So if I switch over to MS Tool, we'll find it under Project and MS Backup. Now what this will do is this will take a copy of your current drawing as you're currently working on it, and it won't save it in place, but it will save it in a special timestamped folder. So this is just in case you want to try something, but you're not sure if you want to commit to those changes. So let me try an MS Backup. Here I'll say no, I want to keep my drawing in its current state. Do I want to add a comment? Sure, I'll do that. Pick on OK. And now see what's happened is a new folder's been created. Here's a copy of my drawing in its current state, and there's even a little text file here that if I want to have a look at it, I can just say yes, and there I'll have a record of all the different backups that I've done. A final useful tool to know about is if we go into the program options, what you're going to find is a feature called Autosave is always turned on by default, and I believe it's set to 30 minutes. So what Autosave is going to do is, as you're working on the project, it won't save the project as you're working on it, but instead it's going to make a backup copy in, and the backup copy will have this extension, $, and it will be placed in this location here. And the system will also create a backup copy of your database. So if at any point you ever need to have a look at your Autosave drawings, then you can go into Windows Explorer, and the easiest way to find it is just type %temp% and hit enter. And you'll find many different programs on your computer have been using it for backups. And so here's what you'll find is whatever drawing that you're working on, as long as there was a backup, the $$ is your CAD file, the $MZ is your microsurvey database, and if you compare their timestamps, you can find out which one goes with which version. So if at any point disaster has struck and you need to recover your drawing from the last autosave, then you can go into the temp folder, you can grab a copy of these two files, change their extensions again so that this one is DWG and this one is MSZ, and then you'll be able to open them up and continue working. So thanks very much for your interest in microsurvey's Save, Save As, MS Backup, and Autosave features.